I'm Marty Stouffer. Charting ancient pathways in the sky, some of nature's most colorful and charismatic birds flock to our marshlands year after year. Here in this wet world of cattails and marsh grass, millions of ducks and geese live out their lives. In springtime, as males battle for mates and the chance to breed, the females settle into nesting and rearing their young. Predators, too, haunt these rich wetlands, preying on young, sick, and careless birds. Only the smartest and strongest will survive. Witness the inspiring spectacle of our ducks and geese as we take flight with Wings Over the Marsh. Ducks and geese are among nature's most beautiful creatures. In flight, streamlined and elegant, they are poetry in motion. All waterfowl are very strong flyers, migrating extraordinary distances and famous for their amazing navigational skills. When waterfowl migrate south in autumn and north in spring, they follow ancient corridors in the sky called flyways. In North America, there are 4 main flight paths: the Pacific, the Central, the Mississippi Valley, and the Eastern. A dazzling array of duck species use these flyways, each with its own unique shape, size, and lifestyle. In waterfowl, the males, like this drake canvasback, are usually the most colorful. Different duck species have different feeding behaviors. Some feed near the surface, others deep underwater. Deep water feeders, called divers, feed on water plants and invertebrates in the mud below. Shallow water feeders, known as dabblers, sift and siphon. They strain out small plants and animals. Diving duck drakes typically have red or black heads and bright yellow eyes, like this ring-necked duck. To propel themselves better underwater, the legs of divers are attached far back on their bodies. Because of this, divers must run to get airborne. Dabblers, like this pintail, generally forage on the surface, but a unique behavior called tipping allows them to also feed underwater. Note the location of the legs. All dabblers, like these cinnamon teal, have stout legs positioned more to the center of their bodies. This allows them to jump straight up and take off. Let's travel along and witness one of nature's great spectacles. Summer is coming to an end. Soon it will be time once again for the flocks to gather. There's a chill in the air as a north wind pushes them southward. Ducks, geese, and swans, more than 50 species in all, are on the move. Like wolves, which follow herds of caribou, eagles follow the migrating flocks. This behavior is passed on from generation to generation as young eagles join the adults on their first migration. As the grand passage begins each autumn, waterfowl by the thousands gather at staging wetlands. Here they are hunted by the hungry bald eagles. By pushing the flock, an eagle forces one unfortunate mallard to make a fatal mistake. The other ducks soon settle down. Catching the duck is only half the battle. Keeping it is the other. Eagles are opportunistic and will steal from each other rather than go out and catch their own prey. They do not hunt in cooperative packs like wolves. This young hunter manages to hold on to its prize. Despite constant pressure from eagles and other predators, these stopping points are essential. The birds will stay until ice covers all the open water. The great flocks which fill the winter skies have long fascinated humans. Some are drawn by an innate instinct to hunt. In communities all across America, waterfowl hunting is a time-honored tradition. Billions of dollars are spent each year by millions of hunters. They've funded countless conservation projects which have saved many marshes from being drained and developed. Ironically, hunters are waterfowl's best friend. Most hunters exhibit no less skill than the bald eagle in pursuit of this quarry.
Let's press this guy on these.
Hunting seasons and harvest limits ensure that a balance is maintained in our wetlands. The red fox is another frequent hunter in the marsh. It usually goes after small rodents, but if the right opportunity presents itself, the fox will eat anything it can catch. A wounded or sick duck would do quite nicely, or a perfectly healthy duck, for that matter. The fox waits for the birds to come closer. But the ducks seem to have the upper hand, or do they? The wet fox does not look too happy. But the ducks seem perfectly pleased with the outcome. We who quack and swim away will live to quack another day. The courtship displays of newly returned migrating flocks marks the beginning of spring and mating season. Drakes display in hopes of attracting a hen, and each species has its own unique style of displaying. The spunky little ruddy duck drake has one of the oddest. His display is sort of a burping hiccup. It's meant to attract a mate and establish a territory. But it also attracts rival males, hoping to stake their claim. The female plays an active role in driving off unwanted males. skirmishes often escalate. The prevailing pair proudly claims the turf. The intruder gives one final call and retreats to a different part of the pond. Mallards court during migration, and by early spring, most pairs are already established. Males which do not find a mate will begin the eclipse molt. During this time, bachelor males take on the drab plumage of the female. Drakes which were successful in finding a mate, like this one, will remain in full nuptial plumage until nesting begins. Most ducks molt twice a year, once in spring and again in autumn. Mating for mallards is not simply an act of procreation. In fact, it's part of the ritualized pair bonding. A drake pintail keeps his distance. This up-down, head-nodding gesture is a mutual agreement of sorts. It signifies the pair's commitment to mate. When a sufficient amount of head bobbing has taken place and the female is ready, she will allow the drake to mount. After copulation, the drake does a victory swim, while the hen performs a ceremonial bath. This female redhead has already been on her nest for several weeks. While turning the eggs, she hears the faint peeps of her little ducklings inside. Her calls back to them are thought to help synchronize the hatch. During a month or so of incubation, the hen was able to keep her nest a secret. Now that the young have hatched, they could draw unwanted attention. Once they've dried off, mother will lead them to the safety of the water. Unlike other birds, ducks use the nest only for incubation. A mink would love to lunch on ducklings. In the water, there are fewer dangers, and the ducklings can now begin to forage. An inexperienced mallard hen has laid her eggs in an unprotected, exposed area. Mink specialize in a semi-aquatic lifestyle and live in close proximity to ducks. All ducks must learn to hide their nests from the mink which hunt the water's edge. Defenseless against the hungry mink, the hen is forced to abandon her clutch and watch from a safe distance as her precious eggs are eaten. Still, the hen will live to mate again and will soon lay a second clutch of eggs, hopefully in a better location. Unlike most birds, ducklings hatch with their eyes open, covered in downy feathers, and almost completely independent. A mother duck does little to care for her brood after they've hatched. A yellow-headed blackbird, however, will spend her entire day, day after day, hunting insects to feed her young. Another new brood heads for the water. This wacky straggler has an eggshell helmet. Won't be needing that. A nearby family of eared grebes hitches a ride on father grebe. Because ducklings are so self-sufficient, ducks are able to raise more young than other species of birds. Baby ducks may instinctively know how to fend for themselves. Yet they still remain close to mother as she watches for predators and guides them to the best feeding areas. They peck away at every little thing that intrigues them. Freshwater invertebrates make up the majority of their diet. On this high-protein diet, young ducks grow quickly, as they must. They have only a few months in which to prepare for migration, a true test of strength and survival. Once again, the autumn sky is filled with the living poetry of a million beating wings. Snow geese are some of the first to move south. Winter comes early in the Arctic where they nest. By late August, snow flurries begin to push them out. By October, they arrive at mid-latitude staging wetlands. Here, thousands of birds stop to rest and feed. These staging marshes are of crucial importance, a last-chance gas station with 800 miles more to go. Many marshes along the ancient flyways have been drained and are now useless to the flocks. This has caused overcrowding in some of the remaining wetlands. Yet, the journey continues. With the arrival of winter, most of the flocks move farther south, but many ducks are reluctant to leave and will stay as long as there is open water. But these ducks risk facing predators which lie in wait in the hope of capturing inexperienced young birds on their long and tiresome journey, predators such as the goshawk. mallards still have water on their side, and though this strategy did not work with the eagles, the goshawk cannot risk getting waterlogged in the dead of winter. For this lucky duck, diving under worked. But the goshawk is a stealthy and persistent hunter. Unlike the eagle, it is able to outfly a mallard and snatch a fleeing duck right out of the air. The laws of nature work to benefit all species in the wild. The duck that is captured is inferior in some small way, and now these inferior genes will not be passed on to the future. And the duck which escaped will also pass on its successful traits. In this way, the cycle of life continues. Freshwater wetlands, drained for development and agriculture, are the most endangered North American habitat. With fewer places to forage and raise their young, ducks and geese become more vulnerable to disease and starvation. Let's leave a home for waterfowl, so that in years to come we may always experience the glorious spectacle of wings over the marsh. I'm Marty Stouffer. Until next time, enjoy our wild America.